Now, by the time this video drops, it will be Saturday, October 25th, the first day of early voting for the New York City mayoral race. The second and last debate took place on Wednesday evening, and it was hugely entertaining as well as being chock full of substance. So, who won the second debate? Now, the same candidate who won the first debate, Andrew Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo showed the fiery will to win in the second debate, and also what I believe to be his strength, his calm demeanor and refusal to get rattled while at the same time rattling his opponents. He controlled the debate from start to finish. In the first debate, he was a bit more deferential than necessary to his opponents, who don't come near to Cuomo's mastery of the issues. He's a former elected governor of the state of New York, a former elected New York State Attorney General, and he served as HUD Secretary under Bill Clinton. So that resume shows Zohran Mamdani's got nothing on Andrew Cuomo, especially on the issue of affordable housing. Mamdani's entire gambit is affordable housing, the high cost of housing. It's the establishment's fault, etc. Now, he assumes American voters are stupid enough to believe that Andrew Cuomo wants the people of New York City to wallow in high rents, high mortgage rates, etc. I mean, really? Andrew Cuomo has no incentive to keep people house poor. It's one of the most outlandish talking points in Mamdani's arsenal. If established, experienced leaders like Andrew Cuomo, a former federal HUD secretary, can't bring down the cost of housing, it can't be done without creating urban decay, tenement buildings that are falling apart, etc. Mayor Eric Adams has spoken about this many times. Mamdani is selling pie in the sky. He's selling a conspiracy theory. The powers that be want you to be house poor, etc. It's outlandish. Mayor Adams just endorsed Andrew Cuomo, and he waited until after the second debate when it was abundantly clear that Cuomo trounced his opponents on the debate stage, and the endorsement came before a single vote had been cast, even in early voting. So Mayor Adams has behaved responsibly through all of this. Now, there's been a lot of controversy about Curtis Sliwa. Why hasn't he dropped out and thrown his support to Andrew Cuomo yet? Now, I'm just speculating here. Maybe it's the polling. Maybe he doesn't think Cuomo can win. And I understand why polling is necessary. All I'm saying is polling becomes a factor in whether people show up to vote. In retrospect, for example, we can see how polling during the Democratic primary, which had Andrew Cuomo up by double digits in almost all of the polls, probably affected whether people showed up to vote. They looked at the polls and thought, well, he's going to win, so I don't need to take time off from work. And as a result, Mamdani won the primary. And there's another major factor. Curtis Sliwa is the Republican nominee. At the press conference in which Mayor Adams announced his endorsement of Andrew Cuomo to be his successor, Andrew Cuomo said, "We're Democrats. We're both Democrats," even though they both ran as independents and Cuomo is still on the independent line. But they are Democrats. We all understand this. A socialist with a communist playbook won the Democratic nomination, not because he's really a Democrat, but because of his unmitigated gall. Now, he even has the Democratic Socialists of America pledge, in which Mamdani forks over 3% of his salary to the Democratic Socialists of America. Now, you can't say that about every Democrat. So I don't view the polls as a predictor of what they're supposed to predict necessarily, namely the results of elections. Polls influence how people behave, especially in the age of social media and all kinds of media, because every voter has access to polls now. I credit the statistical analysis in which a sample is determined to be representative of the whole, but these New York City polls need some huge caveats. There are no early voting results yet, and even exit polls have an obnoxious impact on elections because they always publicize the results of exit polls, and that does cause some people to stay home and watch the election results rather than going to the polls to cast their votes. I'll just conclude by saying that major party candidates should never dodge debates. Now, that's just doing a disservice to voters. For example, in Virginia, the lieutenant governor's race had no debate per se this year. Republican John Reid II is running against Democrat Ghazala Hashmi. The Democrat refused a debate, which swung the door so wide open for John Reid to slam dunk his opponent over and over again in an uncontested debate, which I watched on YouTube. Ghazala Hashmi's policy positions were presented through an AI voice that sounds just like her, and the format didn't treat her unfairly. I don't know why she dodged the debate. I just don't know. She's a state senator, so presumably she's debated before. Anyway, she deserves to lose. She can't even be bothered to show up for a debate for the office of lieutenant governor. She deserves to lose. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe.